Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. Well, you know, for the last period of time, I've sort of, I don't want to say sloughed off, but I've sort of warned you away from trying to fish the tributaries because through the later part of the fall, they've been so low and navigation becomes really difficult. And even wading, which is my way of navigation, becomes really tough when all you see for miles and miles is rocks and rocks and rocks. But with all that said, I guess I was a bit remiss because over the last few weeks, we've had several pictures and reports come into Up North NY. That's a YouTube channel that I've told you about that has all the videos of our muskie fishing on the Grass River and the other rivers in the area as well. We've had a lot of incredible muskie results from people out of the area that come to visit these wonderful tributaries to fish for muskies. And there's been some incredible muskie pictures that they've sent us. And what I can pass on to you is most of these fish were caught by people fishing with a fly rod. And that's about the ultimate sporty way to catch these fish. And it tells us also that these fish have become active in this later part of the season. You know, it's incredible to think of catching these great big fish. And they are great big. You know, we had a picture come in this last week of a guy that came up and he was fishing the Grass River and he caught a 49 3/4 inch muskie, we'll say 50 inches, on a fly. That's really spectacular. And I love to hear people fishing them this way because they're not using big trebles and the fish have a lot better chance of surviving the battle. The one thing you should be aware of, though, when you use a long limber rod like that, even though it has the ability to quell these fish, it really does. By making the battle longer, it really strains them tremendously. Something to keep in mind. But I'm telling you, if people from out of the area that have never fished these waters before can come up here and catch these wonderful muskies, this really is a sensational fishery that we have, is a blessing, I guess, given to us. Now, remember that the muskie season will end at the end of this month. So if you still want to get out there, that's still possible. I know that the biggest muskie I think I've ever caught, I think because I've caught some really big ones when doing my TV show where we were releasing them right there at the boat and we weren't measuring or weighing them. But the biggest one I can remember was many years ago catching a 40-pound, which was weighed, muskie that I caught in the Grass River. And what would you use this time of the year? I don't think using some of those surface lures might be as effective as using something like these guys are using, streamers under the water. And I remember that big muskie that I'm talking about, I caught on a long, like 12 or 14 inch horsehair jig that I was using. And I thought I'd hooked shore. I had no idea it was a fish. I just felt this incredible weight, and I remember this so well. It was part of what gave me muskie fever through most of my life. Anyway, folks, we still have some muskie fishing in the tribs that you can engage in if you're bold enough to get out there and fish these really cold conditions. And I say bold enough, boy, as much as I love catching muskies, I don't love going out there and freezing to death trying to catch them in these shallow pools that they might still be in. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.